off campus, yeah. So hope this will be like in this session you will get to learn a lot of things out of them. So let's start with some questions. So सबसे पहले तो भैया लोग वार्सो जाके कैसा लग रहा है वहाँ पे, कैसा है सब कुछ?
वारसो में तो भाई सब कुछ बढ़िया ही है, काफी डिफरेंट है इधर इंडिया से। पहला दो चीज तो सबसे ज्यादा डिफरेंट वो है खाना और वेदर। मैं तो थोड़ा काफी टाइम पहले आया था तो फिर मतलब वेदर के साथ थोड़ा बहुत यूज्ड टू हो गया हो। खाना खाना भी मतलब खाना डिफरेंट है काफी, लेकिन उसमें भी हो जाता है ठीक ठाक, और बाकी तो सब बढ़िया है।
सबसे पहला डाउट तो लोगों को ये रहता है कि इंडिया से बाहर जाने से वेज वालों को दिक्कत होगा,
भैया
तो वैसा कुछ है क्या?
भैया
कैसा? सॉरी।
कि इंडिया से बाहर जाने से वेज
भैया
वालों को
कैन यू
दिक्कत?
स्पीक इन इंग्लिश भैया?
ओ या श्योर श्योर श्योर।
Yeah, sure. We have
वी
no
कांट
problem with
अंडरस्टैंड
that.
हिंदी भैया।
Generally, it's not that big of an issue
ओके
Yeah,
थैंक यू
sure.
भैया।
because
Yeah, Rasul, I was asking, like, there is a famous question that is there any problem for vegetarians to go outside India and like for food
Yeah, so
in
for
respect
that,
to?
I think Amit is in a better position to answer this because I'm not a vegetarian. So Amit will take this
Yeah,
question.
yeah,
He will
please.
say his experience.
generally it's not that big of an issue. But sometimes in vegetarian we have vegetables. But if we include the complete palette, like there are multiple options which like includes pork or chicken, etc. But if you just like if you are a vegetarian or a vegan, it reduces your options quite a bit. But yeah, there are options, at least most of the places.
Hello.
Mm-hmm.
So next, सबसे famous सवाल, like बहुत like there are many first years out here and everyone wants to know like for first years and even for second years. So how to get started with competitive programming?
Dude, just start. Find someone who loves to code, and then start doing that. Like, you'll get stuck, and then you'll find a solution. And that's how you learn. I guess that's how things work in CP. At least starting. If you keep looking for roadmaps and etc., you'd always be in that loop for forever. So you should be like just get started with that as soon as possible. That's my take on the question.
Can you guys please come on cameras? It feels really weird just to see the three of our faces.
I hope I am visible.
No, I
I
think
don't see you.
I think it's the spotlighting thing.
Yeah, let's switch it off. I didn't expect that name. Okay.
Are you all from NIT Silchar or are you from different places as well?
Most of them are from NIT Silchar only.
Okay. Is the chat disabled by on purpose?
Chat option
In-channel meetings are only available to team members.
Arpit, make the chat system visible. Like, yeah, accessible.
Okay, भैया.
I still can't see anyone's face other than
Uh,
मुझे तो
the team ही दिख रहा है.
मुझे तो नहीं
Oh, nice. Team बहुत weird है भाई.
so, am I audible?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would like to know the like CP experience of Padmanabha Bhaiya, like from the starting, how you started off, and like you had three off-campus opportunities as well. So can you just like drive through your journey?
Sure. So I guess can you just switch off? Yeah, that's better. That's better. Okay, so like I guess I started competitive programming when I was in second year. So third semester will be the one when I started it. So
चलेगा
am I audible?
Yes, Bhaiya.
Hello? Yeah. So I guess I started in third semester, and well, initially I guess it was there is you all know Adnan. Like he was the
Yes,
one
Bhaiya.
who got me interested in competitive programming. All right, there's a lot of echo, I guess. Just a minute.
स्पीकर ऑफ कर देंगे हेडफोन खोल लेना ठीक है जी
Okay. Am I? Yeah, I'm audible.
Yes, Bhaiya.
Yeah. So I guess I started in third semester, and yeah. So at first I was doing coach chef. So at first I was doing just coach chef, and like I used to solve problems, and the ones I could not, I used to look up the tutorial. So I don't think I had an organized way of going about it. So like it was pretty much disorganized for me. Like if I couldn't solve something, I would just look it up in the tutorial and get to know by what algorithm it uses or something like that. I'd say when I reached fifth semester, I did it in a more organized way. Like there is one great book I found, like it helped me out a lot. It's called Competitive Programmer's Handbook. I guess you all can check it out. It's open source, like the book can is available in the net. I guess you could download a PDF. So like it is a pretty good way of going about learning competitive programming. And since you all are in college, so I would say the interviews will be heavily banked on that. So yeah, I guess that was it. After college, I got placed in D show. So like their interviews were pretty much based on that. There was a round where they asked object-oriented programming, but that's not very tough to like read or understand. You could do it in a day or so. The main thing that needs to be done is the DSA part. So I guess that's it. That was for D show. And you can expect for the first 2 years, like if it's for a L3 role, that is a software engineer one role, you can expect the interviews to be heavily banked on DSA. So yeah, I guess that. And if we are talking about Google, it's totally banked on that. Like every round is a DSA round. Even I hear for SG2s, they give you a choice whether you want to take a DSA round or system design round. So if you're going to prepare for Google, I guess you need to have a good CP. Like it good need to have a good hands-on on CP. I guess that's pretty much it. The way I learned computer programming is mostly by doing contests, like participating in contests and stuff. So yeah, I can't think of anything else to say. Are there any questions, any extra questions you would like to know?
Audience free to can ask questions directly.
Pardon, I didn't get you.
I'm asking the audience like they can feel free to unmute and ask questions to you all.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hello, Bhaiya.
Yeah.
Ritu here. So, Bhaiya, many people will have a doubt that is just doing DSA would be enough to get into Google, and if you want to crack any international offers like Google Warsaw as well.
Yeah, for Google, DSA is just enough. Like, if you have good DSA knowledge, you have good hands-on on competitive programming, that's more than enough for that. Uh, yeah, that's basically it. If you are going for Google, I suggest that you do competitive programming. For Google, I think that's the answer. I don't know for other companies. Like, even if it's for other companies and it's for L3, that is software engineer one role, I would still say that you need to have a good hands-on on DSA. I think most of the companies do have a round where they ask you questions on subjects like OOPS, networking, and stuff. But that can be done in a week or so. So I would say the main focus should be on DSA. And if you're asking about projects and stuff, so like I don't think Google cares much about what projects you have done or so. Maybe in the initial resume screening, it does play somewhat of a role, but in the interview process, it doesn't play a role at all. At least in my case, it didn't. Rasul, you want to add something?
Yeah, so this interviews and stuff. Yeah, the most important thing would be data structures and algorithms. That is like problem solving. And if you are like an experienced in CP, that would help you a lot. But you don't have to be like super experienced in that. Mute, mute. Yeah, so you don't have to be like super experienced in that, but yeah, if you do CP, you will definitely have an edge. But mostly the important thing is data structures and algorithms. And yeah, like, but that's not the difficult thing actually. The interviews, that's not very difficult. What's most difficult is that going to the interviews. Yeah, so that's the most I would say the difficult part is getting shortlisted for the interviews. So for that there are like multiple options you can do, like get a referral, then apply, get connect to a recruiter and then apply, or just apply via the career portal. But having a good CV would help you a lot. So I had this uh, thought in my mind that just by applying directly to Google, it's impossible to get the attention. But it's not like that. I have some friends here who didn't have any referrals, who didn't contact any recruiter directly, but they just applied via career portal and they had a like really good CV, and it worked out. They were shortlisted for the interviews. So having a good CV would help you a lot, not just in Google but in other places as well.
I guess that's where like having good projects might matter a lot for for a larger part of audience, where like you might have a great grasp on competitive programming, or a good grasp on problem solving in general, but if you don't have uh, like much projects, etc., it might get harder for you to get shortlisted in the beginning.
So you might have all the skills to crack any interview, but you are not even like getting chance to showcase that skill. So for that, I guess to add to Padma's answer, I would say like yes, get getting in for getting into uh, most of the big fan companies, you don't need other than things other than DSA, but having them doesn't hurt you. Like it generally adds some weight in your resume. So that's my take on that.
Yep, got it. Thank you, Bhaiya.
Yeah. Just to confirm, am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next question I would like to ask to Amit Bhaiya. Like, how does is it necessary to like do a summer internship to get a good full-time offer? Like, there are many people in our college who are not yet like placed in an summer intern. So, do you have some message for them?
This question is very strategically placed toward me because I didn't have any summer intern back in my third year, which is which was a big deal for me back then because I knew I was doing things right. I was practicing. I had a decent resume back then. I had projects. I had like skills in development as well, and I had a pretty better than average grasp on DSA, but still couldn't crack most of the companies. Couldn't clear the assessment. Sometimes couldn't like sometimes messed up the interviews, bombed the interviews. But in general, I didn't get any internship, and at at the end of the fifth, basically at the end of the third year, I got an internship, but and at the last moment they canceled it because of the pandemic, and they said like we are not expecting a work from home interns. So something like that happened, and that that time was very hard. That time can be very hard for anyone because when you see everyone else around you doing interns, having big names on the resume, it might demotivate you or depress you in a way. But I would say you should you should keep working on your best suit at that time, and you have to realize that it the path might not be similar for everyone. Basically, not every path is a linear path for everyone. You if your end goal is to get a decent job in the end, not having an intern should not uh, should not demoralize you that much. Rather, you can at that time you can work on your resume. You can get your CP. You can get your CP skills better, or you can increase your DSA skills. So that's what I did at that time. I had no option other than going hardcore into computer programming. That's when I reached. That's when I reached 1800 plus for the first time on Code Forces, which was a pretty big deal back then. Uh, but yeah, to add to your question, I don't think it's mandatory, but again, having that would help you a lot. Would help you stand out from other fellow candidates that you'll have. And that's my idea about it. You should always
Thank you.
try to get one. If you don't get it, you shouldn't be disheartened just by that, because it's quite probable that you don't get an internship when only 20, 30, or 40 people is getting interns are getting interns out of all your batchmates. So it's pretty hard.
Thank you very much, Bhaiya, for this. Um, Next question is for Rasul Bhaiya. Rasul Bhaiya has worked in India as well, and outside India, it's been 4 months that he has been working in Google Warsaw. So, what's the difference he finds in working in India and working in Warsaw? Not in respect to the environment, in respect to the work culture, like about the, yeah, about the work culture, like about the team connections, sort of that.
Yeah, yeah. So okay, let me just correct you, but it hasn't been 4 months yet. It has been like 2.5, 3 months only. But yeah, anyway, I get your
We
question.
just speak it.
So yeah, I also have felt some differences. The thing is, I think I could have understood a lot more if I worked from Indian offices as well. As you know, in during my time in India, it was entirely remote. I was working just from the comfort of my home, and it's much different here. Now I'm coming to office every day and meeting the people here and all. So that's one difference there, like obviously. And apart from that, I have seen this work culture differences. I'm not sure if it's just varies from company to company, or is it just in Google, but here the people are like very chill about work. They leave work by 4, 3:30, and it's fine. And I think it would be a like huge deal in India. So that's one thing. And well, what else? And apart from that, I just like the offices and stuff. So not much to comment. What was there in India?
If I have to add to that, Alec, I would say like in general, software industry is much heavily commercialized in India and in European offices and uh, in US as well. They generally focus on uh, getting a touch of innovation in their products rather than like getting the product ready and getting it into like getting it worked like getting it working, something like that. So in general, Indian software industry is much more commercialized, and in Europe and American offices are more, lean toward innovation. Because when we are working uh, when we are trying to solve a problem that is ambiguous by design, you cannot just you cannot uh, you cannot expect people to like get it done by XYZ or something like that. Basically, putting hard deadlines and etc. These are the things that I guess negatively impact uh, Indian software industry in an average employer's mind. But if I have to tell a plus, that becomes a plus when like when you are a startup and you don't want to deal with a deal with lot of that bureaucratic stuff. Generally, a startup is easy to like operate in India than in European and US office. And other than that, of course, like India is the biggest market anyone can have, so that also works in their favor. That's the general difference I have found yet.
Thank you, Bhaiya. I have seen few hand raised. Sahil Mandolia,
Yeah, so hi everyone.
if you have any,
So I was
yeah,
having a question that, yeah, I have the question that are advanced data structures like Fenwick trees, segment trees asked in interviews or not? So I want to know that.
Yeah, I can give some context in that. I think I have given a lot of interviews. That's not what I think. I have given a lot of interviews, but in none of those interviews I was asked those questions. I remember in one of my interviews at Google, uh, like while discussing, I suggested something with segment tree, but then when we later found out the constraints, it was impossible to implement. So I think those data structures, if might come, like in some interviews they might ask you, but it's very rare. Now if you want, you can learn them. It's not very hard actually to learn those as well. So you can have some information, background knowledge at least on those. But I think it's gonna be very rare.
Uh, Actually, in the Google interviews, I was asked segmentary. So, like, I wouldn't write it off just like I wouldn't write it off easily. You can learn it. Like, even if they ask you segmentary, the question will be pretty much basic. Like, it would be a basic implementation of segmentary. So, I guess you should learn it. Like, if the interview comes up with a question, like, I'd say that you can tell him no if he comes up with a segmentary question. So, like, I would say better be prepared.
Okay, got it.
First of all, what is the definition of advanced data structure? If you're calling a general range query data structure advanced data structure, I won't say like people everybody will agree that a basic range query data structure is an advanced data structure. In any case, it's rare that in any interview you'll get a question, but if you get it, you should know, at least you should know the black box thing. Like a segment tree is something which takes the range, gives you the output. If you even if you don't know the uh, internal details about the implementation, you should at least know the black box things so that you can like give an abstract idea about the solution. If something is being you might say like, let's assume we have a data structure and then I'm solving the problem, something like that. Something like this can be your approach, but you can't just not know how you update a range, how you like basically get maximum of a range, something like that. Because not knowing might land you in situations where you cannot answer a very simple question that can be like solved with just the basic definition of segment. So that's my take.
Okay, thanks for the answers. Got it.
Ayan, do you have any question? I don't think so. He has something. So next question will be regarding like time management. There are a lot of first years and second years asking questions like their classes are scheduled from 8 to 5. After that, they have to do some lab assignments and all, and they don't get some like time for like coding and all because they are also involved in some club activities. So it's a big question about time management. So how can like your batch has already experienced that like first year and second year for the batch of 2021 was like offline. So I think you always be the better person to answer the question.
Is the matter of priorities in general. You cannot you can't say like you don't have a two. You can't like you can't say that you don't have 3 hours to give or 4 hours to give to competitive programming in a week. If like if we are talking about problem solving or competitive programming, I guess giving 2 to 3 or 4, max to max 4 or 5 hours, well, an hour a day, like you can manage an hour a day over the weekend, or like you can manage an average of an hour a day over the weekend, etc. That's what your approach can be. Or like you can do a context basis approach. Like whenever there is a contest, I'll give the contest, and then I'll do the app solving and another question a day, something like that. In general, that's how you can deal with that. Otherwise, I mean, as I said, like, are you sure about going into that club that you don't really want to go? I mean, that's how I'll take. That's how I'll see the situation. But in general, I guess you can always have some time. Like you can take the average time you spend on computer programming to like 1 hour a day, or like 40 minutes a day. That would be, I guess, enough, more than enough. The key thing is consistency. and not like making a hard like hardwired routine or something. So I would say like mm, they create cram some tasks, create some time in between. If you are passionate about, if you get passionate about uh, computer programming, it's very easy to you know you know like it's very easy to manage some time. You can ask Ayushman like how he did it. I don't know how he did it, but I am more than certain that he has devoted many of his hour of the day to computer programming consistently. That's my idea. Padma, you like to add to this very controversial topic?
I don't know. Yeah, like if you like it, I guess you will just find the time for it. So yeah, like even if you are going to classes, I think at night you are probably free, so you could do it at night time. And giving and keeping regular with contests is one of the main thing that you should look after. You learn a lot from participating in contests, so I would say that be regular at participating. And on top of that, like you are free to miss classes if attendance is not mandatory. You are free to skip classes. That's up to you. So yeah, anything more anyone would like to add?
Or like you can do what Adnan or Aniket used to do in my batch. He used to like solve hard long challenge problems in the class when the teacher is giving lectures. So that's always an option.
Uh, yeah, there is one question that can you please ask at what stage of learning a language do we realize that we are ready to um, start our hands on CP?
Uh,
I think when you learn to take inputs and print outputs, you are ready to start CP with that.
that's
Very
pretty
short and crispy
short and
answer.
concise
For
answer.
sure.
Yeah, but in general, yeah, that's what I would say. Like if when I start competitive programming, I didn't know I was starting competitive programming. I wanted to learn programming. Like I wanted to understand algorithms, so I took a course from IIT Madras, like NPTEL course from IIT Madras. It was, I guess, it was data structures and algorithms in Python. So I was pretty excited because Python was the talk of the town at that time. So I thought let's learn Python, and then we might create a project or two in that same language. So that's why like I started like coding in Python, how to write GCD function in Python, how to write recursion in Python, how to write loops in Python. That's when I like uh, when I realized like now I have a basic idea about how to like take inputs, how to write control statements, how to write print, how to how to basically write conditional statements. That's all. That's enough to add. So in general, you'll find most of the people are like learning C++ plus plus at some time sooner or later. But if you're like learning Python or Java, it's totally fine as long as you have as long as you know that the end goal is not to learn and be better at a language, but to be better at tackling problems.
Yeah, I wanna add to what I just said, like what and why I said it. Because there are two ways to learn. Basically, you can go ahead and learn a lot of stuff and then jump back to problem solving, or you can start problem solving and learn on the way. The former way that I just mentioned is very much boring for me, and after some point of time, I lose interest because I don't see any achievement in that, because I don't see those green accepted tags basically. So that's one thing. So that's how I like it. I started, and then on the way I learned. So one advice could be for first years, if they are there and they are starting with something new, you can start with code forces, like minimum rated questions like 800,000, and then you can, on the way, you will learn about the language as well.
Or you can have that hacker rank batches of 4 star, 5 star, and you can flex them on your LinkedIn profiles. It's always an option. So that's what you can do as well. Like in general, for a beginner, that's not a bad deal. Having a 4 star badge on your hacker rank profile that you can always share the link.
I posted like 5 star.
Yeah. First 4 star, 5 star, course of 3 star. All these things are absolutely magnificent for a beginner, and they are easy to do. If they are not the hardest thing to do in computer programming, so I guess I would say, like, getting if you're getting started, find a hook, where you can find your motivation and keep doing that, because in general, in the beginning, the curve might be a little steep for you. Like, it might not be that simple for you to learn algorithms. It might not be that intuitive to you why they are doing the way they are doing things. So that's why, like, you always have to have a hook. That's why I said, find a peer, find some motivation, find a reason why you should do it, and then you can keep doing it.
There is one doubt. Juhair, you can unmute and ask your question.
I bar hours.
Juhair. Okay, anyways, let's continue. So I would like to ask about like off-campus opportunities. Uh, I don't know if this is a myth or something, like people say off-campus opportunities is very tough to crack. So can you say something about that?
Yeah, like, am I audible?
Yes, Bhaiya.
Yeah, like off-campus opportunities, if you keep searching on LinkedIn, I'm sure you would get to know something about them. And even if you don't, you can always connect with recruiters of the particular company you were interested in. So I don't think finding off-campus opportunities is that hard, but applying to them and getting an interview call, I would say that's where your luck comes in a bit. So yeah, but if you have a strong resume and if you have gotten a good referral, I think that works in your favor. So you are almost 70% sure of getting an interview call or at least a test link. So yeah, you need to keep going on in LinkedIn and searching for stuff like that. Be active on LinkedIn.
Tell them how you got the opportunity of Google Warsaw. Like, it's a cool story.
Yes,
Uh,
please.
yeah, so I think it started. I think Rasul would be better suited to answer this
Uh,
question.
Well, for me, uh, I was always trying to get some. I was always applying for any eligible openings in Google since college. I tried for the internship openings, didn't get any response. Then tried some referrals, didn't get any response. But I still kept doing it. Sometimes I got like very annoyed and tried to look for another way. So I tried to get in touch with recruiters, and I think I have more than like 70 to 80 recruiters of Google already in my connections, but nobody replies. Like I send them messages and they don't reply. And finally later I got one recruiter who replied and said that okay, I can take it up, but I see that you have already applied in Google Bangalore. So that would be like sort of poaching because I'm hiring for Google Warsaw and I can't do that. I was happy that he replied and I was sad that he can't be taking my application forward. So I told him very frank and honest answer that look, I have been applying a lot, and what happens is that mostly I don't get any response, or I just get like auto rejected response. So I'm sure that that application with Google Bangalore is not going anywhere. So I would like to withdraw that and start with you. So then he agreed, and he checked with some stuff, and basically some formal stuff, and then he started the process for me.
So yeah, that's when I'll take the uh, that's when the thing started with me. So I I was in Bangalore living in a PG with Rasul and two other friends at that time, and he was like it, before the thing even started, he was like, "Bhai, apply karna hai." फिर when the recruiter replied and the interviews started, like basically the interviews got fixed. So he was like doing lead code stuff here and there, just getting in touch with things. And I was like being the good friend as I am, I was like helping him out in practicing. I was solving a couple of questions, and I was like, uh, and I guess at some point the recruiter said, do you have any names in mind that might like apply? Do you have any friends who want to apply? When his interviews were going good at some point, but I didn't like think of applying back then. But then when his interviews got finished and hiring committee decision was about to come, I guess that's when I thought, let's apply. I mean, there is no harm in applying. So then that's when I applied, I guess. And then the same process happened with me. I was also solving problems on lead code, like Google company specific problems on lead code. And then basically, yeah, at, at that time I was on my notice period on Make My Trip and about to join Amazon, but a few things like changed, and then I joined another startup back then. But my interviews got scheduled. I gave the interviews, and they went pretty smooth, I would say. And so that's when we have already found an apartment for us in Bangalore. We shifted there, and Padma said, I'll visit you guys. And Padma came along, and that's when like the story for Padma starts. And Padma said, "Why not I apply? We all said like, why don't you apply? Why don't you see what happens then?" And then that's when I guess Padma also applied, and then I guess I came back, but Padma kept doing his interviews one after another, and then later we got to know like all of us were selected, something like that. I'm not sure, like I interpreted the story a little bit differently that differently than what actually happened, but that's how things went, I guess. So it was like
Yeah, that's actually very
करके
amazing.
it was like भाई करके देख लेते हैं, तुम भी दे रहे हो हम भी दे ही लेते हैं, इस टाइप से है, मतलब like तुम दे दो तो हम भी अप्लाई कर देते हैं, something like that. And I guess that's how things went.
So what's the feeling that you all three share, like from an ITS to Google Warsaw, like friends in an researcher, like same in like coding club, and then now in Google Warsaw? What's the
I
level of
mean,
happiness?
I would say मैंने अपना तो सोचा था पर इनका नहीं सोचा था. But no, jokes aside, it's a fantastic feeling to have like to have not only to be here, but also like having friends with us. It saved a lot of effort for me because Rasul has already found a couple of things that might have basically that might have made me do some like homework. Rasul has already done his homework while we arrived here, so it helped me in that way. Also, like uh, so now I have someone who now we have a couple of friends who like we can always go to like an Indian restaurant and have food with. So that's a little different, I would say. Other than that, yeah, work. Other than that, like I till now I find the teams very like helping here. Like my team, even in my team, like there is a great diversity. You can like meet people all around the globe. That's that's something really cool, I would say.
Okay. Next question. Like next topic will be
Padma,
based
you,
on decision.
Russell, you, if you want to add something on that, what is
Yeah, yeah,
what
sure.
is like, what is it like to be in Google also from an IT skill? सफर कैसा रहा आपका?
Yeah, like
Yes,
it's
please.
nice being in Google Warsaw along with friends. Like it's nice that you have someone to know and depend on. So I guess that saves a lot of hassle because Rasul arrived first and he did a lot of homework here, so that helped us a lot. Uh, I guess, and also in hunting for apartments, I guess that played a pretty positive role. It's like to say,
Being
Rasul.
here is the one thing. Being here with two of my batchmates is whole another thing, I would say. Like, being here is cool. Yeah, I got an opportunity. But being here with two of the chuddy buddies that I had in college, absolutely awesome, I would say. Also, that kind of hello, am I audible?
Yeah, yeah.
So also that kind of like uh, reduces regret of mine that I had out there. I always had to not participate in any ICPC together as three. So that that also like reduces that regret I had back in my mind.
Like Himanshu had one doubt. Himanshu, you can unmute and ask. And Sushant as well. Okay, both are not speaking up. I have one more question. Is it hard to get a big internship in second year?
Hello.
Yeah, am I audible?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, you're
Yeah, you
audible.
are audible.
Yeah, there is one question like, is it hard to get a big internship in second year?
Okay, would like to take this question.
I'd
Rasul?
say I'd say yeah, it's hard. But why but the question is why do you wanna get an internship in second year? What's what's the like reason? Because I believe internship also even in third year is only useful if you are looking for a PPO in that company. If you are not, then the entire work that you have done uh it won't mean much, just a paragraph in your CV, which won't also be looked up a lot. If you have other projects, you can fill that space up with those projects. So, and there's a lot of effort. There's also like if you get rejected, you have to deal with that as well. Uh, you'd be sad and stuff. So there's a lot of back and forth things which you have to deal. So why didn't you go for an internship in second year?
More rejection, more sadness, more depression. That's that might be one reason to look. No, basically, if you get a good internship at second year, it's not bad, I guess. Like I have seen people doing a really big internship like Amazon or Google, even Google in second years in other colleges, not in an IT sector. But if you get an opportunity to get an internship, why not? But if you don't, I don't think that's a big issue.
Uh, Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had a doubt. Basically, what do recruiters ask when they see your projects? When your interview round is scheduled about our projects, what they basically see in our projects, what they want.
Okay, so you mean the interviews where the interviewer is asking specifically about the projects that you have done, am I right?
Yep.
Yeah, I had one such. Uh, Let me guess. I remember one of those interviews, but yeah, I had two such interviews, and basically, if they are asking about projects, they want to know that you have worked on it, and by you have worked on it, they want to know that you understand what you wrote in those lines of codes. So that's you can't just uh, take your project and to them you can tell them you can't just explain to the project as a black box thing. You have to know what's inside the box as well, and they might go very detailed as well.
Yeah, so
Bhaiya, I had one more doubt. Basically, in many product-based companies, they have last or second last round is known as bar raiser round. What is uh, what does that bar raiser round revolves around? Like they have
it's
already asked you DSA, they know that you're good problem solver. If they have already asked you about your projects, they have already conducted HR rounds. What basically that bar raiser round or that googliness round, whatever.
Nice one. Nice one.
okay.
Nice.
The
Yes.
googliness round is a little different than the bar race round. The
Yeah, give
googliness
us solution.
The googliness round is basically, I think it for me it was just HR questions. The bar raiser round is a little bit different. It's a technical round, and till now, I think I've only faced Amazon that asks like that conducts bar raiser rounds, and it pretty much just asks DSA. So I guess the DSA questions are a little bit tougher than the normal questions they ask in the previous rounds, and I don't have any other experience giving bar raiser rounds in other companies. I don't know. Do any of you have that experience?
No, I didn't give any
I
Amazon interviews.
I gave an Amazon interview. I gave basically two rounds that were sort of bar raiser rounds. In general, bar raiser round is by definition bar raiser means if you are adding if you are the one that is being added to my team, are you increasing the bar? That's their idea of like bar raiser rounds. But in general they ask you a DSA question that you are supposed to answer, that you are supposed to code it out in Amazon's basis round, and there are also a couple of questions that they really like, look look for your answers in that they are related about they're related about uh, their leadership principles, etc. And most of the times the person that is like taking your war raise rounds would be really senior person. In general, he would be as engineer manager or equivalent. To reply to answer to your first question, I had an approach on how I will answer every how I'll answer any question related to my project. So in general, the questions about projects would be about the aim of the project. You should be very clear about why are you making the project, what problem this project solves. You should be very clear about the the solution that you provided, like how you implemented the solution. And, and there is one thing that you should be clear about, like what technology stack you are using. If you are using something, why you are using something. If there is a replacement of that technology, you should be aware of that. Like why am I using beautiful soup and why am I not using HTML parser? In general, that's an example I wanted to give. And other than that, you should be aware how this project is better, or how this is like solving the problems that the other existing projects related to the same problem had. Like if there are two solutions already available on the GitHub, how is your project solution better than those two solutions? If there is a difference, at least you should know your like plus and minuses. And there is one question that is mostly related to managerial 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 rounds. The What is the biggest problem you faced during this project? what is the biggest problem that you had? So again, this is a question that's where like they try to understand your mindset, like how you approach what is a problem for you and what's not a problem for you. That's 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 an idea, and you should be aware of any to do's in the project, like what can be a scope of improvement in your project. These are the pointers that you might like want to frame your answers around. Th- I guess that's my idea about giving project rounds. If you're clear about your if you're clear about what your project does and how your project does, answering any of them questions won't be that hard for you.
Last
I
question. Last
hope.
question.
Sure.
Am I audible? Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah. Last
Yes.
question. Last question. What I wanted to ask you is that I'm currently sophomore in some tier 3 tech college. What I want to ask is that I have seen on LinkedIn that many students or many bhaiyas who get a good intern in their third year, second sem around March or April, or then they do a good summer intern or winter interns. They are probably getting interview calls for other companies as well, because I have seen that they are having those big tech names in their resumes, and which is affecting which increases the value of your CV directly, and then you get interview calls. But in case, for example, if I fail to get a good intern in third year, maybe off campus getting intern is tough. You said it as well. And if I fail to get it in third year, and then in third year and in till the end of fourth year, I will be targeting full time roles in good product based companies. So at that point of time, when I will be targeting those companies, I will be not certainly not having maybe not having good tech brands in my CV. Then does that affect getting interview calls even if my ATS score of my resume is so good? I have good projects, 2 3 good projects in my in resume. I've done 2 3 interns, but which are one or two intern which is not in a good tech company, maybe local startup or maybe a startup based in wherever I live. And I've worked out, I've quantified the number, no, I've given the numbers of what I have done through my intern. And then even I have a good CP profile. I'm around like 4 star on CodeChef currently. I improve it till 1.5 year, which I have in my hand. So what do you think? Like, is this feasible?
It sure is. I mean, I can tell my personal experience. Like I didn't have any intern whatsoever on my resume. So what I did, I filled that blank space, as Rasul said, with a good project that I did in that year. And I also like tried to increase my rating. I tried to get some achievements on my hands on in computer programming. And then when the placement season started, I like I have this I had decided like I won't miss any chance now because I have already missed many before that. So I decided to like apply in every possible company that visited my campus, and luckily I got a chance. But in general, yes, it makes a difference if you have a Amazon internship done, but it it does not reduce your chances to get a uh, to get shortlisted after that if you don't have in your resume. So do again, as I said, you shouldn't take that much load about having a big name on your CV. As long as you have done interns, as long as you have done the work in those interns, it it doesn't make that much of a difference. Or you already said your resume, like your resume looks good. The way you're telling me, like you have a couple of interns, you have a good rating on different sites, you have been practicing. I think that's all they need. That's my idea. Again, it might change from season to season, from like how they're recruiting and what is the market scenario right now. But in general, from a fresher, they don't like expect you have to have an intern or something like that. That's not how things work in general.
Okay. Thank
Hello.
you.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I had one question. So I just wanted to know how the role of branch when it comes to placements at IT companies. Like if I upskill myself and brush and polish my skills well enough, how hard would it be for me to make it into a good product based company despite the fact that I'm not from a circuitous branch? Does it make any difference?
Yeah, like I would say, in some company it does, and in many company it doesn't. So I don't think big companies have that much of a criteria about branch, but I'd say if you're going to startups and all, like they do have a criteria for circuitous branches only, and in some cases I've seen that many companies allow only CSE students. So I guess it varies from company to company, and you need to check the requirements for that. But I don't think that should be a problem. In the beginning, it might cause you a little bit. You might have to search a little bit, but after that, I don't think, like in the long run, it doesn't have much of an impact.
Got it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The path might not be that straight for you to like get get into your dream company right away, because in campus placement they are very strict about branches, etc. You might see there is a strict requirement of a computer science and electrical, or something, computer science and electronics, or something like that. But in general, if you
Yeah.
come into the open market, like
Yeah.
off campus, etc., it's very easy to get shortlisted, and it's very easy to like give interviews. Once you get to the interview table, nothing matters. I would say
Okay.
it's
Thank you.
about getting to that table.
Yeah, am I audible?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, next one more like question I had is about decision making. Like how important is decision making? From starting with like whether to start with competitive programming or development to considering which company to join. Like what's yeah, how to deal with this decision makings.
I'd say that you don't need to put this much thought into it. Just do what you like to do. If you are into development, you can do so. Just practice a little bit DSA, like get good in problem solving is all I would say, to crack interviews. Otherwise, you're free to do what you like. And if you are in college, I wouldn't say you have to stress about it much. So yeah, like you don't need to make any hardcore decisions. Like whatever decisions you make in college, they aren't going to impact your life very much in the long run. A little bit, yeah, your decisions will impact, but they are not that strict decisions that you are making. Just do whatever you
Just
like.
and just be intention. I think we should be intentional about the decisions we are making. Like if we are making a decision, w- don't make it because your friend is making that. Don't don't start with machine learning just because your roommate is always busy learning PyTorch. You should do machine learning if you are genuinely interested in machine learning. Be very intentional about the path you are choosing, because if you give your 2 years into uh, machine learning, or any particular subject, and then you realize that it's not something I wanted to do, that that leads to regret, and that's not what you want.
Yeah, like the final decision should be ours.
Yeah, right. You should be aware that you are making a decision and not doing because somebody else is doing.
Yeah, like there is one question. Is it possible to start CP at first sem or should we have other priorities?
Yeah, I wanted to say something about this decision making. So this decision making would depend on your priorities, but you 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 should evaluate the situation based on your priorities. but evaluating the priorities itself is a bit difficult, knowing what we want, what we should want. So those sort of things. So this brings us to CP. Like I also wrote something about it once on LinkedIn, and I still stick by it. I believe like CP is like a sport. You, if you don't want it, you don't have to do it, but problem solving is a must. And it should be done. And for problem solving, you should start as soon as possible. And once you get the hang of it, once you feel like you can do a bit more than problem solving, then you can start with CP.
First semester is not a bad time to start. Like the the sooner the better, I would say. If you want to experiment, you sure can. But if you have, if I had the opportunity to do it all again, I would like, if I had to do it, I would like start as soon as possible, because I started very late, like around midway around third semester. So which is not the ideal time to start. If you like, if you have realized that you want to do programming later in your college life, you should start ASAP. It's like a
Yeah.
head start you have. It's like a head start you have in a race. Of course, there is a race. You cannot deny that. If it's a sport, if there is a competition, there is a race, and everyone is more or less equal in that state where you all are almost like blank on knowledge about algorithms or programming. So anyone who starts early might be a little better by the time passes. So yeah, you can start as soon as possible.
Okay, now I have one question regarding coding club. Like, how coding club helped you in your journey?
I'd say like I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for coding club. So like I owe a great deal to coding club. We have a pretty fantastic coding culture in our college. I guess we have produced around from our college we have around four masters now who have been like we have got four masters I think. Yeah, four
And
or five masters.
one is on the way. So I guess somebody is going to be master before 2023.
Yeah, so I guess that's a pretty great achievement for our college. And yeah, of course, I think in my time, the average package of coding club, like those who were in coding club, was pretty good. So yeah, I'd say coding club helps a lot in every aspect of your engineering life.
Coding club by definition includes everyone who writes code and who likes to like talk about code and talk about programming. In that case, and I guess that's the only productive thing that I have done in my college. Other than uh, no, other than nothing. There is nothing I have done other than coding that might have helped in the career.
Yeah, in my personal opinion, I would say it was not specifically the coding club, but it was the coding environment that we had in our college. So that helped, and that's why I did what I did in college, and why I learned stuff, and basically made my way till here. And with respect to coding club, I think the coding club can do much better, because during my time I also felt that we could have done a lot more. But in our case, the situation changed suddenly, and we went from college to home, and we were coping with that first, and then later decided with the coding club. But I think like coding club could do much better, and get more students involved in coding and stuff.
Yeah, that's a lifelong problem of having more people on board with coding club. Like it's been a challenge, I guess I would say, for the last three years or 4 years or so. I have seen those 20 faces that represent coding club every year. More than, if there is never 21, there's always fewer than 20 that actively participates. But I would say like we have improved our coding culture by like 10x or 20x, but I can see it improving over the years as well. It 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 made all the difference in my case, in many other cases, and I guess it's gonna do that. It's gonna keep doing that. Also, if anyone is interested, Croatia won the quarterfinals. Brazil lost. Unrelated to the question.
So now anybody, if anyone wants to ask question, he she can unmute and ask. We are done now with questions from our side. Yeah, did you guys get to meet Striver?
He's in the other office actually. I haven't met him. Rasul has.
We are
And I,
conspiring to do something. I mean, we are planning to do something. Kind of like a meet or something. I'm not looking forward to it. It's a joke.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello, Bhaiya, am I audible?
Yeah, yeah.
Bhaiya, my question is how our academic grades or CGPA matter in tech placements or interviews?
I think for some companies during campus placements, it matters a lot. Like companies like Goldman Sachs would look at your pointer and basically they want to see something more than 8.5 or around 9. But I'm not sure. And also, yeah, coming to the other part, some companies would look at your pointer and basically they want to see something more than 8.5 or around 9. But I'm not sure. And also, yeah, coming to the other part, some companies, especially in campus placements, there would be a bar. Basically, some companies would ask for something not less than 7, not less than 6. So yeah, it definitely matters. uh, so it's good to have your pointer in some safe spot, probably around 8 or something. So that would help.
Having a 7.5 CGP on my degree, I might not completely agree with you, but yeah, it obviously I the one thing that I always will regret is not having a good pointer, because again it didn't matter that much, but if it made me lose a couple of opportunities. That's all the bad that it did. I guess if you have time on your hands, make sure that you are having a pointer which is at least greater than equal to 8.
So you did agree.
I do agree, but mm, it's not
Okay,
like
thank you, Bhaiya.
I might say 7.5 is enough, but it's not that.
Yeah,
Not
I
that.
said something around 8.
Yeah, I know. That's why I did disagreed. Uh,
yeah, having an 8 pointer is safe play. So if you're maintaining it, it's good. You don't have to be too much into maintaining high
I
pointers, but
lost the I lost the opportunity to apply in SAP because of that. When they came for internships, and I'm like that, and that's like after that, I guess Padma got the internship in SAM,
Yeah.
and then I was like, "Iska bhi ho gaya intern, मेरा ही नहीं हुआ." Something like that. But I mean, that was an opportunity missed in general because of bad CGPA. Back then, I had 6.98, which is terrible. You shouldn't be below 7 at any cost. So yeah, having bad pointer is not recommended.
Also, one more thing, for those who are having might be having low pointers and struggling, it's mostly during campus placements. I have not seen something like that in off-campus placements. So you can, if you are not getting enough opportunities on your campus placements, you can try your luck on off-campus opportunities.
What I do, I generally like remove the pointer part from my CV and then send my CV. And there are a couple of key highlights that distinguish my CV from other CVs. And we never talk about pointers in off-campus interviews. So that's how I get away from that all discussion. Like it's very easy to get the question if you have mentioned the pointer on the CV. It's very easy to get the question like, why were your pointers so low? Why did you what were the reasons, etc., etc. And I don't want to face those questions in the interview for obvious reasons. I think we have already exceeded the time. If there are other questions,
Yeah, if you guys have any other questions, feel free to unmute and ask. Otherwise, we are going to wrap up.
Hello, am I audible?
Hello, Bhaiya.
Yeah.
Yes.
Bhaiya, I was having the question that which is the best language to start with if I am a beginner, complete beginner?
C.
just learn C++. Just learn C or C++.
Yeah, just learn a
Bo-
language and get into some competitive programming side and start
Or
solving
if you try to start C++ and failed because there are so many pointers, references, etc., etc., and you get confused in that, you can always start with Python and then come back to C++ because that's what you're going to do at some point. So I guess if you are totally not sure about any language to pick, you can always pick C, C++, or Python. And if you have failed choosing C++, it's better to choose Python and then get a good understanding of how programming works, and then you can move toward some language that is compiler based.
I'd say in my opinion, if you are new and you wanna just start with something, I'd say go with C, because that's what I also did, and it's pretty simple, easy to learn, and you'll get familiar with it in no time. And then later, it's not much big of a deal to go from C to C++. And if you obviously don't like it, then you can switch to any other languages.
Are you enjoying free food in the office?
Oh yes.
Friday on Fridays we don't get dinner. That's sad. Otherwise, I would have left the call by now and then went for a dinner. But I guess
No,
Friday
Google cares for you and they want you to party on Friday, so there's no point in giving dinner at office.
makes sense.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, any raised
Anyone?
hands?
Hello, am I audible? Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are.
the difficulty level of on-campus and off-campus placements? Like which one do you think is like more difficult, and how do we go about dealing with it?
Of course, off-campus placements will be more difficult than on-campus placements because the number of participants is much greater in off-campus placement. So if you are going for off-campus placements, you need to be more thoroughly prepared than on-campus, because in on-campus placements, you know, if they're going to pick someone, it will be from your college, more particularly your batch. So the number of participants will automatically be less than that in off-campus placements. So prepare accordingly, I'd say. And yeah,
Quality, like quality of the questions is not that different. I would say like the hardness of the problems are not that different in off campus, on campus in general. But other than that, the competition is
For some
yeah, you
companies,
go
it
ahead,
is
go ahead.
different for some companies. Like Media.net, if you see from my experience, I would say that the level of questions asked in off-campus placements are much harder than what they ask in like on-campus, like when they go to colleges. Like I've seen in interview experiences, the type of questions they ask in on-campus placements and in off-campus placements, they really do differ.
Hello.
Yeah.
Is your learning student machine learning?
Sorry, can you repeat?
What machine learning?
Yeah, your voice is not audible. Like it's breaking in between.
What is your machine learning in first year?
What is your opinion about machine learning and something like that? Totally unsure about that. If that's the question.
I did not do machine learning, so ergo I do not.
I know a person who did machine learning in first year, and he did a lot better in coming years.
You have got a little experience in machine learning.
I know a person who did machine learning in his first year, and in the forthcoming years he excelled in that. He got multiple paper published, and then he got praised in Amazon. His name is Abdullah Khilji. That's the only person I know who did machine learning in first year, and he was basically the person who was actually doing machine learning along with Divyansha in my year. So I'm not sure, like, if again, are you intentional about doing machine learning? Are you really want to do machine learning on the first year? Because if you are doing it because you have seen a senior doing it, or like you have heard about the buzz, I won't recommend you doing it unless you have strong reasons for doing it. And I won't discourage you to do it because you might have a genuine interest in that. But if you are not sure about doing it, don't do it in the first, like in the first semester or second.
Yeah, I got one more question. I have learned C and C++ and HTML, CSS and Python surface level. So should I select a single language or go multiple ways?
You can do good
I'm
with.
discussing the questions.
You can do good just one language. In college, I only knew C++, so like that wasn't much of a hindrance for me.
I know this is not the exact question that you were asking, but something similar was asked by someone in my team, and my lead answers with a really my lead gave a very good insight on that. He said, there will be a time when you have to decide between what type of engineer do you want to be. Do you want to be the guy who knows everything on a surface level, or do you want to be that person who knows circuits very well, or who knows compiler very well, or who knows some specific technology very well and not have a lot of experience in all other things? So it's your choice. What do you really want to do? Do you want to have do you want to get your hands dirty on 30 things and then pick one, or do you want to be an expert in something? It's totally up to you.
One more question.
Yes, please go
Hello?
ahead.
So the Google Warsaw offer you people got, was it on campus or off?
It was
Off
off
campus.
campus. Google also never visited in NIT Silchar yet, I
Yeah,
would say.
Google India never visited an IT Silchar.
Yet. I have high hopes. I'll ask Ayushman to send some HRs over to NIT Silchar next year if they can. It would be interesting to see how you guys perform in an interview sessions of Google. Pretty sure a couple of people would be selected because there is enough talent over there. I have a question toward Harsh. Harsh, how do you think? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, yeah.
I have a question for you. I want to know how in general how is the computer programming culture in your second year and third year? How many people are doing it
Question.
actively? Yeah. How many people are doing
Okay.
actively? How many people are participating? What is the participation if a contest, NIT is local or something sort of that happens? What is the general participation level? Is it more than your time? Is it less than that? Is it almost the same?
Talking about the third year, I would definitely say it's lesser than our time. Like, yeah, most of the competitive coders that I know and that are also involved in coding club, they got an internship. And after the internship, I think that they have got some kind of resonance that they don't actively participate in contest. But if I talk about second year, there is their second year lab in the that CC building. I can see them grinding over there till 1 p.m. Yeah, 1 a.m. of course.
Wow.
So I can see them they practice in groups, and that's amazed me that uh, if I go there, I see that all the members of the coding club and non-members of the coding club as well, they practice out there, and also the number of participants in code chef starters, and even the starters that we organize, especially for second years and third years, there is a huge number of participation.
Nice.
But in third year, it's a bit less. Yeah, but I have high expectations from second year.
Good.
Got it.
And of course, yeah, one thing to mention that I think we already have an expert in our first year.
Wow, nice.
That's good.
Devadipto wants to
Yeah.
ask something. Is it?
Devaditya?
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah.
Yeah. So my question is for Padmanabha Pia. Like I can see you switched like 4 companies in the past 1 year. Like so, I would like to know what's the reason behind this frequent switches and like can you also brief the your work experience for the past year and like more specifically why did you choose Google over AMD?
I guess I chose Google over AMD because Google is Google. So that would answer your question for my switch from AMD to Google. And as far the rest are concerned, so in D show, I was basically member technical in the quality and test engineering department, and I wanted more of a developer role. So after that, I went into Tara Capital Partners. So there I was a quant developer. And yeah, so the work pressure there was a bit high. Like they used to work on Saturdays as well. So, and I did not like that kind of work pressure. So I made a switch to AMD, and from AMD to Google is because Google is Google. So that pretty much sums up my answer.
Yeah,
Oh
makes sense.
yeah, and one more reason for my switch is that it was in Warsaw, and I wanted to go to Europe. Yeah.
Say hi to Pandey from my side. Pandey is lurking from the camera. And ask. Nice.
Yeah, it's just
Nice, nice.
so. Thank you very much, Bhaiyas, for taking out time and answering few of the like frequently asked questions.
Thank you so much for
Thank you.
having us for this session. And I think it's already very late for you guys.
Anybody else has any questions, or I think I
So my last question for us, and then I'll go. Are you like still participating? Like, are you like still aiming master before 2023? You should, because like,
Question to me.
yeah.
Oh, I have to think of that.
Because I saw like in the beginning you were like grinding a lot. Now you were not. So what's the idea?
Like I was busy with like finding a 6 month internship, which I
Oh,
got.
nice.
Now I think I can restart my competitive programming, and to end it well, I may become master. Yeah, I would like to give a try. Just need a push.
Nice. It was great talking to you guys. Fresh breath of air.
Hello. Hello. No, what
Yeah.
technologies that you currently work on at Google? Like, what do you do actually in the daily basis?
So right now I have no idea what technology my team works on. In general, I have seen them working in Go and Python, and couple of their like local proprietary build configuration like scripting languages. But in general, the main tech stack is in my team. It's Go and Python, majorly Python. Rasul might give you a better idea because he has been working
How are
on a
you?
project or two.
Yeah, about the technologies and all, Google has everything made in their own way. All the tools that you know about doesn't exist here. They have their own version of everything. Even all those third-party tools, they have made a version of their own. Some technologies, yeah, mostly my team works in Go and yeah, mostly my team works in Go and a bit of Java and yeah, that's that. And my work is
Um,
in Google Cloud. So that's my team is about.
I mean,
And
see it
are you
this way.
part of
If
any full stack web development like that?
No, I'm in the back end.
I mean, you can see
Just
it
work
this.
for the software development, right?
Yeah, software development backend engineer.
I was saying you can see it this way. Like if you, in general, they don't have a choice of working with the like the time that they become enormous like company. At that time, there were not enough tools to work on that scale. That's why they decided to build everything of their own. Uh, Now, even if there are options, but imagine working on a repository that has a couple of billion lines of code. You can't simply like copy the repository in your local machine and work on it. Like your memory limit will exceed. I would say your computer's memory will exceed it to put it in simple words. In general, they have everything of their own. Every small thing like Git, they have their own version of Git. They have their own version of Jira. They have their own version of all the product that the software industry generally uses. They don't use. It's somehow similar in Amazon as well because the same story is almost there as well.
Am I
I guess,
audible?
yeah.
Yeah, I think like Dabodipto texted me about his question. Like, can you speak more specialist versus generalist archetype in the software dev context, and which type is valued as they climb up the corporate ladder?
Can you repeat
Was
the
I
question?
clear?
Like the first. Can you repeat the question? The
He's
first part.
talking about a specialist versus generalist archetype.
Mm-hmm. So yeah,
Yeah, in the software
my take
context.
my take would be like if you are someone who loves engineering, if you are someone who wants to be that tech guy who knows a lot or knows a lot, you should be scale your knowledge in a vertical sense. But if you are a people person, you might wanna uh, someday you might wanna get into the managerial roles. It's better to know little bit about everything. That's my general take. I'm not sure if it answers your question or not, but that's where my answer would be headed. Like if you wanna go into managerial roles, if you wanna like do those kind of stuff, you wanna meet new people every day and work with a large number of team. In that case, you should like expand your horizon. But in general, if you wanna be the tech guy, it's better to expand your knowledge vertically in a field that you like. Totally up to you. I guess it's already like 8:30. I wish should yeah, like you guys all like it's already one or something. Is it one?
I have bus 5 o'clock morning.
Oh yeah, I think you guys like finished the session. Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, thank you very much, Bhaias, for joining in.
Hello.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Now, how DSA help at working at Google in the work basis?
Work
Yeah,
base.
it doesn't.
You
I would say it doesn't. It doesn't. Like, let Rasul answer and then I'll tell you.
No, I think I was just asking about the question. You mean how DSA helps in your day-to-day work?
Yeah,
Yes, Sama. Yes, Sama.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Go ahead, Devati.
I was saying it doesn't. It doesn't really help working in day-to-day basis, but when you are dealing with ambiguous problems, you should like knowing where to start helps. That's when the DSA comes. Uh, you will never use a Fenwick tree in the implementation of a feature, but it's better to know from which part I should start from. how you should go about a problem. It's better to like be good at problem solving uh, in general. That might help in a day-to-day basis. Other than that, I don't see anyone like writing an ordered map or etc. for a day-to-day work.
Yeah, DSA
I
in
hope.
particular won't be that helpful, but problem solving would be. If by DSA you are in some way referring to problem solving, then it's obviously helpful. While problem solving, you learn a lot and it stays with you, right? It sharpens your thinking skills. So obviously, and that would be a plus point in your day-to-day work.
Yeah, like it increases your critical thinking. So that's a good point. I think it's a good point to have anyway.
Yeah, in case if you are referring to problem solving somehow. If you strictly mean DSA, then I don't think you need a lot of data structures.
And those who do need it, I think they're way above. Like I think those who prepare the main designs, I don't know, maybe I don't, maybe someone who works in the search team or something. I don't know, maybe they use algorithms somewhat.
If you have got more questions, you can ask in the WhatsApp groups. We will get answers for you. So it's already time to end. So thanks again, Bhayas.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Bye bye.
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 Good night.
Good night.